Well, hello, everybody. David Fanale here with Real Estate Talk, TGIF. Thank God it's Fanale. And what a show we've got for you today. I just want to have some people shout out to me, make sure you can hear me. If anybody's out there, make sure you can hear me. We should be okay. So we're going to cut the music here and kind of get started. So we are slowly but surely getting started here. And we want to be able to get some great information out to people today. So it's been 2 months into the year. We are March 1, rabbit, by the way, everybody out there, and hoping that everyone is doing really, really well. If you can hear me, please make sure you tell me. I've got some new equipment that's been working really, really well, and I just want to make sure it's working well for you as well. So anyway, we're going to talk about some things, and I have a great special guest today on episode 34 of Real Estate Talk. Thank God it's Fanale. That's me, and today is Friday. It's March 1st, everybody. And so today I have a very, very special guest with us. His name is Dave Fanale. You know him as Dave Fanale, and here he is. So Dave, you've got a lot of things you're working on, a lot of things you've been doing. So tell us, we want to get right into it because we've got a lot of questions that we got from people. So let's go with the first one about, real estate agents, why they don't succeed. Why do agents fail? Tell us, who are the ones and why do agents fail? Why don't they succeed? Thanks for asking me that question. One of the biggest things is that we've got several different things we have to look at. One is new agents, one is agents that get stuck, and there's several agent tendencies, as well as the age-old question of part-time agents. Where do they go for help? How do they succeed? Because everybody says that part-time agents really can't succeed really well. Now, you know as well as I do, if you've watched this show, that you did an interview with Oscar Nunez, who was a part-time agent, did $7 million in production his senior year in college, a full schedule. So how did he do that? So, that's what we want to do. We want to move along. We want to talk about things. So we're going to talk about some things about real estate agents and how they can cure it. Thanks so much, Dave. So tell us a little bit about yourself first, Dave. Where do you come from? What's your background? Because a lot of people see you as, someone who does speak up and someone who is not afraid to say what they feel. So where did that all come from? I mean, there has to be something, maybe, as you're growing up or your family and stuff. David, thanks for asking me that question. First of all, I'm the youngest of 8 kids. So in order to, get myself heard, you had to do something. I have a brother that says that I've got the weird gene or the different gene where I do things differently. I've always believed that you need to stand up for what you think is right. And most importantly, you have to stand up for what you think is right, but not be afraid to analyze it all in your head. And then, you have the right to change your mind midstream. So many people get caught up in this thing where, they've made a decision where they've got to move forward, and they might hear something from the other side of their thought process that contradicts what they're going toward, and they refuse to let it in. You have to let those things in. It's called doubt, and sometimes doubt is a good thing. However, if you're committed to doing something, you've got to keep doing it. And I'm not talking about commitment. I'm talking about policies and things you're working on. Like, for instance, as a member of the New Jersey MLS Board of Directors, I would come out with things that sometimes sounded stupid or sounded weird. Yes, that can happen. But they always turned into great conversations. And that's what can really happen. Basically, I started out in the real estate business right out of college by working on a construction site. My dad was building a building, and I did it all. I cleaned up crap. I cleaned up everything. I did the crap jobs that nobody would do, knocking holes in block walls for vents and all this other stuff that you couldn't get just anybody to do, because my dad himself was the GC. He was the general contractor. So I would do all that stuff. I was the gopher. I did all kinds of things. And then I got in, I worked for the Bergen County Planning Board, got into real estate of buying and selling and building and demolishing. And we ran a liquor business. We had a lumber business. And then I purchased in 1996 my company, Century 21 Eudan Realty. which I sold and walked away from a year and a half ago. And now I find myself trying to do my best to help real estate agents. And now I find myself also considering very seriously to go into production to actually do the things that I coach, because I know they work. So why don't I just do them, right? So that's one of the things that I do now. So, okay, Dave, we're talking about agents and what are some of the issues that they have? Like, let's talk about new agents first. Talk to me about new agents and what the issues that they can have is and how they can solve it. Because I know you not only want to talk about the problem, you want to talk about the solution. Well, that's so true. New agents, they don't know what, they don't know when, they don't know why, and they don't know who, right? So here's the thing about learning in our business and really in any business. When you start out, you don't know what you don't know. Then you figure out that you know what you don't know. And then you get to a point where you know what you know. And then the fourth phase is you don't know what you know. If I said that all right. So it's you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Ah, man, I'm really screwing this up. Let me start all over. That happens. All right, new agents. They don't know what they don't know. They know what they don't know. They know what they know. And they don't know what they know. Plain and simple. Sorry for screwing that up. So what do they do? What are their issues? How do they get started? Where do they go? Well, it's almost the same thing for part-time agents, which we're going to talk about in a little while. You know, new agents need to get involved. They need to talk to their colleagues in their office. I do not suggest that agents rely on their colleagues, their fellow associates in their office on how to do business. Why? Well, a lot of seasoned agents have been around a long time, seem to have very, very strong opinions on things that work and things that don't work. Well, basically what they don't tell the new agent is that they did, or they don't like to do it. Let's talk about cold calling and door knocking, two things I abhor that really are ridiculous, right? They work for some people that can do it, but most agents don't like to do it, so they suck at it. So when you really don't like to do something, you're going to suck at it. And as you go along, you find you don't like this business, you should get out of it. But if you're going to really commit to it, there are certain things you have to want to do. You have to talk to your broker. That's the first thing. If your broker is going to be a help and there for you on a regular basis to train you and to coach you, great. If the company has training programs, do them. Some people, other agents are going to say, I don't do them. They're worthless. They're not worthless. Do them over and over again. The other one is your sphere of influence. Work with the people you know. Talk to the people you know. And I'm not talking about asking your mother, your brother, your sister, your buddy from you. I'm not talking about that. More on that. There's a program I have called the SOI method, which really talks in depth about how to do that and to be successful with working with people you know. And then there's a networking. You have to go out and network. You have to network with the people that are in your business so they can help you as well, right? And there's so many other things. And there's, coaches out there. I don't suggest really new agents getting that involved with coaches, even though that's what I do for a living, because they need to get their feet wet. They need to understand exactly what they're doing, right? So when we talk about the what, it's your sphere of influence, your networking. And most important is when you're working with your sphere of influence and you're working with other people and you're getting some leads, you need to know what to say. Now, so many people will use this word script or scripts. They're important to have and they're important to learn, but they're not important to recite and to memorize word for word so that you sound like a freaking robot. Not important. What you need to do is to practice them over and over and over again. And the reason agents get started not practicing and not doing this is because they don't have anyone that they feel comfortable with working with on these different things of scripts. So what I say really simply is to get some scripts and read them out loud over and over and over again. And then walk up to a wall and talk to the wall. It's kind of like what brokers do when they talk to agents. Not just kidding. talk to the wall, talk to it and talk to them like you're conversational. Then you record it. We all have one of these things, right? It's got a recording device on it. Record it and listen to how you sound. Talk those scripts as if you're talking to someone. And then lastly, again, this is also a video camera. Set it up to take video of yourself as you're doing it on the phone, as you're doing it to the wall, just to get an idea of what you really sound like and look like. And most importantly, stand up when you practice the scripts. It's really simple. So just quickly, work with the people you know. If you need help with that, I've got a program called the SOI method. DM me and I'll get you some information on that. And or networking, talk to your broker. If your broker's not really going to help you, you might be in the wrong place. Now, I can say that because when I was a broker owner, I was always training and coaching and doing everything I possibly could to help my agents out. So that's what I got for that. So what else you got? So, all right, Dave, great. Thanks for that one. Now, you mentioned something earlier about agents that get stuck. What do you mean by that? And what do they do to improve? Well, you know, it's pretty interesting when you talk about agents that get stuck. Why are they getting stuck? Well, they're getting stuck because they're getting frustrated, number one. They don't have anybody to push them, and they don't have the situation where they're doing things. I mean, they're going to talk the word hustle, but they're not going to hustle. I keep looking at the computer rather than the camera. They talk hustle, but they don't know what it is. They won't embrace new stuff. They won't embrace social media. I get a kick out of something every day. Every day I do my best to, you know, on my timeline comes up, it's so-and-so's birthday today. So I go into Facebook and I wish everybody and anybody I can happy birthday. And the people that I'm close to, I will actually most of the time pick up the phone and call them, which is something, it's a lost art that we don't do. But they won't embrace social. And I look at everybody that I become a friend with on Facebook or request a friendship of me or vice versa. And I look at what they've got. I look at their photos. I look at who they are because I do not accept everybody's friend request. And I don't expect everybody to accept my friend request. I mean, there's people out there that have been my competition for years that I've been sending a friend request and they don't accept it. I don't know why. We're not enemies. We don't hate each other. Or maybe it's they haven't embraced social the way they should. Look, by embracing social, I mean, as a real estate agent, look, it is our number one venue. It is our number one place. And if you're not doing it, you're missing out. You say you don't need it. Great. Good for you. That's great. That's fantastic. But you know what? You know, sometimes you need another pillar of business. And when we talk pillars of business, that's another reason agents get stuck is, okay, you've got your sphere of influence, and I'll always talk SOI, your sphere of influence. Social media could be one. Facebook marketing could be another. FSBOs, expireds, probates, door knocking. Oh, no, please don't. Zillow. Oh, my goodness, Zillow, right? So you have to have a lot of different pillars of business. And you need to be able to go from one to the other, but you need to start with one and do it very, very well. That's the same thing I will tell both new agents, part-time agents, every agent. If you're doing 5, 6, 7 different things and you call them your pillars of business, that's fantastic. But if none of them are working and you suck at all of them, if none of them are working, you suck at all of them, right? You need to decide which one you're going to start with and move forward with. I know exactly how I'm kicking off some things that I'm going to do as a real estate agent in the next few weeks. I've got a plan and I've got an accountability partner. You know, as a new agent, getting back to that, and stuck agent, have someone you can work with. If you can't find that person, you need to go to more networking events and get friendly with other people. Hey, make new friends. You're in the business, right? So that's one thing I would do as a stuck agent. Okay, those are some great answers, Dave. So how about what do you think? You know, you talk about agent tendencies, right? And some other things. And you said some things that we were talking about before with why agents get stuck and then agent tendencies. They sounded like they kind of went along with the same thing, right? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I do kind of mix things up sometimes. And, agents that get stuck and some of the agent tendencies are they won't embrace social, number one. Number two, they don't know what hustle is. They talk about the grind, right? But they're confused. Why are they confused? Because nothing's working for them. They're stuck, and they tend to get stuck more often than not. And these are the 80% or the 40% in the middle. So understand we've got several groups of agents. Let's talk about that first when we talk about agent tendencies. You've got 10% of the top agents do really, 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 really well. And half of them do excellent. The next 10% are good agents. They do well. They make a lot of money. They're really happy. The next 40% is mostly everyone else that's in production, right? So that's going to be the people that do 2 deals, 10 deals a year. Sometimes some of them don't care that that's what they're doing. But I'm going to tell you that most of them are the ones that have to deal with the negative agent tendencies that we're talking about. So just quickly, the last 40%, they're waiting for their brother to buy a house. They're not doing anything, right? Agent tendencies. So they worry about the old ways. They worry about Zillow. So I have some notes all over the place that I look. See, in my office, I have notes everywhere, right? So, and here's the biggest problem that we have as real estate agents. There's so much noise. And this is the same thing. Think about this now. For real estate agents, there's so much noise in training and that silver bullet or that shiny penny. For our customers, our sellers and buyers, there's so much noise coming from real estate agents. And on top of that, there's so much noise coming from TV, radio, the stupid commercials we have to listen to about Remax has a balloon and this company is this and this company is that. And then there's companies you don't hear advertising from. It's funny. The largest real estate company by agents doesn't do any marketing. Interesting. How'd that happen? I don't know. So, and then you've got, other brands which you're paying as an agent every time you get a commission, you're paying them a part of your commission for marketing. Is it working? No, it's not, but they refuse to see the old model doesn't work anymore. But now I have digressed. So let's get back on track. Confusion. Confusion is the worst part because there's so much noise on both ends and you're creating more noise for your customer to confuse them about you. As I said before, let's do one thing and let's do one thing well at a time, right? Let's cut off all the crap. Stop being a webinar junkie where you're just looking for another idea. Look, you're not going to do it anyway. You're not going to do the work on a lot of things. Look, the things we're talking about are really not the negative things of the real estate industry today. We're talking about agents that need some help, that kind of get stuck, the newer agents, and what their tendencies are, where they go, and what they need help with. The confusion, the frustration is the biggest thing. And they don't understand what they really do, right? So there's a saying I read every day, and it's by St. Francis of Assisi. It's, I do what's necessary, then I do what's possible, and then I'm able to do the impossible. Amazing. Think about that. Do what's necessary, do what's possible, then you will be able to do the impossible. Fantastic. Think about that. And that will kind of sort things out. If you have a desk like mine where there's a lot of crap on it, throw it out. Get a leaf blower, blow it all out. Start it on fire, whatever you got to do. No, don't do that. But start with one thing and one thing at a time. Have a list. I teach a course all about lists. I talked about it on a recent video. Do lists, okay? All right. Thanks, Dave. So you talked about new agents. You talked about agents getting stuck. You talked about some of the agent tendencies. So let's go on to the last, well, not the last topic, but let's talk about a big group of agents that I know you talked to, and I know you've dealt with in the years, and that would be part-timers. Where can part-timers actually become good agents and transition into full-time agents? Well, thanks for asking me that question, David. Here's the thing. Help is on the way. If you look at the lower 40% with the agents that don't do much, a lot of them are part-time. Why? Because they've got a job that they're making good money at, but they love real estate. They don't necessarily love their job. or they've got some family members that are going to be buying houses soon. They might not be as serious as some, or they've got a situation where they've got to be part-time because they have, a family issue or something they need to do, that they have a responsibility. And I get that. My problem has always been, when I was a broker owner, was how do I get these agents the time, the training and coaching they deserve in order for them to succeed? Now, a lot of people will complain and say that this is part of the problem with the real estate industry, where, there's not a lot of help out there. And part of the problem is that the brokers aren't there to help, because it's, the brokers work, 9 to 5, so to speak. And for them to give up another few hours at night to train some of these part-time agents is difficult. Well, I've looked at this and I understand that I also know that there's not much help online to help part-time agents, but there is now. I am personally working on a program to help part-time agents, but that's going to take some time to get going. But we're going to be working on that and helping any part-time agent across the country succeed if they want to. And we're going to have a program where 6 to 12 months, they should be able to transition to full-time. That's right. That is a bold statement, and I stand by it 100%. So once we launch that, which will be in a few months, it's going to be a game changer for any part-time agent. And we talk about the business, and anybody can become a real estate agent. You know what? That's not going to change. I wish it would, but knowing some of the people I know that are way up there, they said, Dave, how do we do that? Every time we come up with something to make it like an apprentice situation, like the appraiser's an idea, somebody knocks it down with, look, a lot of this has to do with political correctness too, and I think it's a lot of crap, but everybody gets a trophy, which means everybody can be a realtor. That's a shame, but there's nothing I can do about it. But what I can do is I can help the serious agents that want to start out as part-time or remain part-time make a lot of money. As I started this whole thing, a friend of mine, Oscar, he did $7 million in production doing it part-time. He was organized. Granted, he didn't have a family to worry about because he's a young guy. There's a lot of things you can do. So if there's any other questions, please feel free to throw them out. Send them to me and let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Now, okay, Dave, that's the real estate. What do you think? Here's probably a really intriguing question for you. There's 3 final questions. What do you think about the contracts that Manny Machado and Bryce Harper just got? I think the owners of those 2 baseball teams are out of their freaking minds. Manny Machado's got everything. But he went to the San Diego Padres, which really haven't done much and never sustained any consistency in their game or in their programs. They start a program and they trade people off. They start a program, they trade people off. There's no consistency to be seen there. Let's talk about Bryce Harper. Look, he just wanted to have the highest contract. And he is now 13 years. Wow. Nobody does that. And look what happened. I mean, remember Albert Pujols. What happened with him? Let's look at Josh Hamilton. What happened to him? Miggy Cabrera, he's not doing great right now either. And he's got another many years left on his contract. So you look at that and you wonder, why are people getting this kind of money, 30 million plus? Are they worth it? Well, as far as entertainers, they're worth it, plain and simple. Why can't our teachers get more money? Why can't our police officers get more money? What about helping veterans? What about helping people here in the United States with different things with that money? I get that. And I hear that all the time. There's no buts about it. That's where our money should be funneled. So you have to look at, the people that we're giving this money to. They're great entertainers, and people pay for entertainment, and that's why they're worth the money. Okay, so Dave, let me ask you one more baseball question. What about the New York Yankees? What do you think they're going to do? Well, I'll tell you what. As far as the Yankees are concerned, I think they did a great job in the offseason. I think they have one too many infielders. But then again, my name's not Brian Cashman, nor is it Aaron Boone. I will tell you that I think they've got a great team like they had last year. I think their attitude has adjusted to where it needs to be. I don't think they had that quality world championship attitude last year, but I know they have that now. Look, you had a great team up in Boston with great leadership, and let's see if they can sustain it. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they can sustain it. So the Yankees got their work cut out for them, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be really exciting. You got Stanton, who's got a year under his belt in the American League, who feels a lot more confident. He was kind of hurt most of the year last year with a strained hamstring all year. And Aaron Judge is 100%. I think we got great competition at first base now because in early goings in spring training, Luke Voigt and Greg Bird have been killing it. So, I think the Yankees it's going to be a great, great year. Right. So lastly, Dave, I have one more question for you. Any movies recommendations that you can make? Wow, that's interesting. Movie recommendations. Well, I've seen a bunch of movies lately because I was, getting in tune for the Academy Awards. And one movie that wasn't nominated, Bird Box. I saw Bird Box, which is really kind of interesting. It's a Netflix film. If you have Netflix, it doesn't cost you anything extra. Really kind of interesting. The ending is kind of like, duh, right? But it's kind of interesting. A lot of symbolism there. I like Black Klansman. I like Black Panther. Don't think they were Academy Award winning type movies. Going to see The Favorite, going to see Green Book, but I did see Bohemian Rhapsody. If you want to see a movie that's got history, that's got the real the heroes' two journeys. And if you don't know what that is, please look it up. That's a real life heroes' two journey story about Freddie Mercury and Queen. Great music. That's the recommendation that I would make, is make sure you see Bohemian Rhapsody. So anyway, guys, I want you to know this has been fun doing this in two people with me. We have some great stuff coming up next week. We have Chris Smith. If you've heard of Chris Smith, a curator, Chris Smith is going to be on. We're going to be talking some different stuff. And the week after that, which will be the 15th, who else but Jimmy Mackin, right after Chris Smith. And we've got some other great people. Let's see what the list says. Let's see what we got on schedule. We've got after wow, what a march. What a march. You started out with Dave Fanale, Chris Smith, Jimmy Mackin, Katie Lance is coming on. I call her the queen of social. And then at the end of the month, we have Ryan Hodge. Ryan Hodge of the Realty firm of London, Ontario, in Canada. Amazing guy. Great leader, great coach. And then also on the schedule, Mike McAllowitz, who is the author of Profit First. Then we have the great Sheldon Neal coming on in the middle of April. He's from Bergen County, New Jersey, has a little bit different approach and does great. Karen Carr, who's the queen of YouTube video. And she's a speaker on it at Inman and a lot of different things. And then we've also confirmed someone you may have heard of for June by the name of Tom Ferry. We've got great guests coming up. We got Tom Ferry, we got Chris Smith, Jimmy Mackin, and also later on in June, right after Tom Ferry, Lee Thomas Brown, one of my favorite of all time. So we got great people coming up. I hope we had some value today, and I'd like to just throw as much knowledge as you can. Any questions, please feel free to direct message me and or call me. All of my contact information is in my profile, including my phone number. Some say that's a mistake. I say, no, it's social. Here I am, right? So I want to leave you with that one saying I came up with, not came up with, but repeated. Please do what's necessary, then do the possible, what's possible, and then do the impossible. You can do all three things. So it's please do what's necessary, then do what's possible, then you will be able to do the impossible. Never give up, do the work. Thanks a lot. Dave Fanale here, signing off with David Fanale. It's been a great day. Take care.